Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm at heroescon 2025 and this is my vlog. This is my walk around tour video. I saw some absolutely ridiculous prices at this Comic-Con. Since 2021, the prices of comic books have really crashed for the most part. But when you go to these conventions, it's like things haven't changed at all. Some dealers a little bit closer to that GPA or that most recently sold, but my gosh, some of these dealers are just completely clueless, specifically about like raw books. So first things first, if you haven't been to heroescon, this is in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is pound for pound the best comic book convention I've ever been to and continue to ever be to, and this is a true Comic-Con. Now, a lot of these other comic expos and things, that I don't know what that is. That's something where they're selling the fake weapons and the knickknacks and paddywhacks. This is all about the comics. Big thing though with this convention now is the presence of social media influencers and YouTubers and wannabe YouTubers. Here's me running into somebody. I don't know why I did that. It's to the point where, it's like everybody's trying to make a video. It's kind of funny at this point. You see people pulling around these giant like cases and totes of comics, like to get these signed. I saw several people like bringing multiple books, the same book to get signed. Kind of sketchy stuff. Definitely somebody that's trying to flip those things. And I'm walking straight back here to the back of this, the convention center. This is where kind of the bigger artists and, creators are. And I actually got my Dan Jurgens Omnibus signed. I got that signature. And then I'm walking back into the dealer area. And then I hear, "Hey, Sticky Goose." And I was like, here we go. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you, Daniel.
Pleasure, yeah. Barry Grigger.
Nice to meet you.
You survived so many highs and lows, buddy.
I know, right? I got my signature, Dan Jurgens. Looks great.
Look at that high class. Now, you got to be careful with this. That's a paint pen. And so these smear. Okay. So this can come right off. So you really can't touch that. Okay. All right. So this is like Sharpies are like it's a solvent that's evaporating and letting the ink soak into the paper. That's why it's a permanent marker. But this is a powder or pigment that's drying on the surface of your book. Okay. So this is a lot. Any rubbing or touching is going to smear that. So this is a dust jacket, so this is like the outside of something, but the reality is this itself would need its own protection. No. Yeah, so if you start shoving this in like other books and you're going to put this on the shelf and it rubs back and forth, over time it can rub this off. Oh, bummer, man. Okay. We're paper people, right, Daniel? Yeah, I know, but this is devastating. This has got to go back on the shelf. No, what you need to do is to tell Dan he needs to pick a better tool. He said it was going to do it. Okay. Don't let these people do it. What happened? It's needed to have it. This is a paint pen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He picked something because it looked good. It looks really nice. Well, you got to pick something that will last, and that's why comics are a problem. Comics are made to look good, but they are not made to last. My first con getting signatures. I'm a rookie. That's a rookie move. I'm not suggesting that you're a rookie. I'm suggesting that you want this to last. And just be careful. But I can see fingerprints on here and things like that. So when you would clean that up, right? Just work it. But you see what we do, right? We make the impossible possible. Oh, so this is the shoehorn into the possible. Actually, we're doing something that's never been done. Did you know that? Okay. We are actually pressing on site. I have a 3,000 square foot pressing center I built upstairs to do it for the show. And then, in addition, people who consign to Golden Comics get free pressing. Golden pays their entire pressing tab. Okay. So let's say you who were dejected with comics, getting out, selling everything, you could just hand it to Golden and they would sell it, but we would clean and press it first to bump it all, and then Golden would Golden tried to pay me to promote for them one time. Well, I mean, they probably reach out to all influencers. Yeah. I mean, every influencer gets some type of outreach. PSA's done it for folks to do it. But I mean, yeah, but my point is that it's new. No one's really offered free pressing ever, much less free pressing for consignments. But I mean, we got X-Men 1s today, Fantastic Four 1s. I got 130K collection dropped off of like, I mean, Spidey 1s, and Junior Trinity Mystery 83, I mean, all types of stuff. So it's really been successful. But I mean, that's just an option. But one is pressing, the point is on-site grading, but without on-site pressing, it's an incomplete solution. You with me?
Yeah,
all these people having this stuff signed, and look, it's got fingerprints, it's got a little dent right here. I mean, not that this is unusual, but my point is like, the moment you sign it, it's already been handled, and yet they're walking into the booth.
Right.
CDC, they really should be getting a press first.
Do you think I can get this slab?
No.
I'm just kidding, dude.
Yeah. But
I'm just
actually, but they do concert posters. You know what I mean? So they actually do big stuff.
No.
Yeah. There's a Go Collect booth here that actually has graded concert posters in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, just as you handle it, yeah, you just gotta be careful. The matte part of this paper is gonna be better to touch than the rest of it. That's all. But if this goes back and forth, slides between stuff, over time you're gonna buff that off. You're gonna see lines in it.
I'll try to be careful. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thanks for reaching out. Yeah, sure. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm Barry.
Barry?
That's fine. Yeah. Comicpresser.com.
Very great. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if you have some that's dark and ugly, we make it light and lovely. So, I mean, that's the key.
Nice to meet you. Take care.
Good work.
Thank you.
You know, by the way, I have a page on my website of my favorite YouTubers, and you're on it.
Let's go.
Yeah, all right.
It's an honor meeting you. Thanks for hollering at me. Appreciate it.
Jesus Christ.
Freaking.
I know.
That was the first time that I had ever kind of experienced that at a convention or being out, where the guy knew, he kept looking at my camera. He knew that I was filming. He knew that this was going to be something I would post, and he was shooting his shot, trying to promote his company. You know, good for him. He was a pretty nice guy. It was just really funny. It was so obvious that he was just trying to, you know, pivot and try to sell his stuff. But I actually think that he's been, at the time I didn't realize, but he had been on Swaggle Hoss's live streams before. So, you know, he definitely did not seem shy in front of the camera because he knew he was being filmed. So, interesting thing there. So I walk back over here, and this is kind of the artist's alley. This is where so many of, and there's a guy wheeling around literal short boxes. This is where, you know, a lot of the lesser known creators, but even the big ones, they're to the left. There's Scotty Young. And I was like, oh, wow, there's nobody at Scotty Young's table. And then I see this is the line. And this is what I'm talking about. Literally people bringing hundreds of books seemingly. And this line extended so far back. I missed my shot to get Scotty Young. I brought 2 books to get signed. And at this point, this is on Saturday, I knew that I didn't have a chance anymore. What's really kind of sad, or made me kind of think, like, imagine you're across the way from Scotty Young and you're one of these creators, and you just see the line and you just continue to sit there hour after hour with nobody coming to your booth. I mean, that's a tough thing, man. And you wonder, you're like, how did he get his big break? Like, how did he get chosen? Was it purely, just being like skilled? Was it pure talent that got him that? I don't know. Did he know the right people? You know, did he rub elbows with the right creators to get in there? You don't know. So it just kind of made me think, like, those other creators, I felt kind of bad for them. This is kind of like the main area. These are like these main aisle dealers that I always talk about. You got to be really careful with a lot of these dealers because they didn't get there, flipping dollar books and, selling nothing for $1. Like, they got there selling big books. This is one of the more impressive wall displays I had seen just getting started looking. People packed in here digging through the short boxes. When I go to these conventions, there's always part of me that's like, how is the comic book world doing? And how, my fears are completely alleviated when I go in here, because I'm like, comic books are doing just fine, because, man, there's people buying. I saw somebody out on the street walking, just in his bare hands an ASM 1 graded like 5.0 that he had just bought for thousands. I was like, this is the comic book community is still booming, and it's not just YouTube. The YouTube comic book community is very small, but the comic book world is pretty big. A lot of cosplayers here. A lot of the same vendors. Like if you go to this show year after year, you're going to see the same dealers, and they're usually going to be set up in the exact same place. There to the left was the original art guy. There's always he always has a pretty big presence. And then here to the right is Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. This is actually the promoter of the show. I usually don't even bother going over there because usually the prices are so bad. This is me trying to wipe Dan Jurgens' signature off because the guy said that it would wipe off. That's obviously where my head's at when I was filming that, and it didn't wipe off. So maybe the guy didn't know what he was talking about, or it's something that happens. It's going to take a long time to happen. I saw several familiar faces, a lot of sticker people. The community is small, man, and I have definitely ruffled some feathers. Some more so than others. I had a lot of people saying that I was in a disguise. I was wearing a hat and I was wearing glasses. So it made me kind of think about like Clark Kent. You know what I mean? Like all he had to do was like put glasses on and people were like, oh my God, he's in a disguise. Like that's how I was thinking. Like, I guess, like, all I have to do is just put on glasses, and people are just like, oh, my God, we have no idea who that is. This is going back over towards Artist Alley. The couple dealers that I have bought things from before, one of them, the older couple from Minneapolis, they were there. I actually had gone to look at their booth the day before. I think I got so lucky that year buying those raw books. But this was the other guy. Last year I bought $1,100 worth of stuff from him, an ASM 50 and a Neil Adams, the Detective Comics homage, the Batman, was it 237? He always has some really good wall books. He was a true salesman. He kind of had this sales pitch of like his wife was wanting him to sell all this stuff. A lot of good Golden Age stuff. Not a crazy amount of slabs on the wall, which was good to see. And yeah, there was definitely some interesting Golden Age stuff there. I'm looking at that first, was that Scrooge McDuck over there on the right? But these side aisles, you have a better chance. Like the smaller the booth, usually the better the prices. But it's not always the case. Some of these dealers, I was just like, what are you doing? Like, what is the game plan? Like, I would go up and ask, how much do you have on something? And then, it'd be $200. And then they would say, I'd give it to you for $150. And I'm like, okay, getting it to $150, you're now just in like I'm overpaying for this. $200 was insulting. Like $150, I'm overpaying. This is something that I could get on eBay for like less than $100. Like that's where we're at with these prices. So you got to be so careful when you go to these because you can get just so wrapped up in everything. Everything's so bright, so flashy. This booth caught my eye because there were 4 slabs up there. Everything else raw.
Got any slabs? Just kidding. That was an intentional. You might be the only person that's not slabbed here. Respect. How much do you have on that Polaris?
This one?
2 over to the left. Other left. Yeah.
I'll do 100 on it.
100.
I just found out there's a guy in our not neighborhood, but in our area that he could clean this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, some of that could come out, I think.
Yeah, I think it can.
I don't know how to do it. Hopefully.
I'm gonna hold this out. Take that.
That's a tough cover.
As a test to see.
Well, it's a white cover. I mean, it's so hard.
Supposedly he doesn't use chemicals. I don't know how he does it. He doesn't use chemicals.
Are all those X-Men books out of the same collection, or is that just pieced together? Oh, okay.
A lot of them came out of my personal collection.
Oh.
Especially the free.
Yeah, the Claremont stuff.
But most of these I bought up until 35 cents, and then when they went to 40, I quit. So these, some of them would be the ones I had, and I bought them. The rest I acquired.
Yeah, that's what it looks. It looks like it's a collection.
It was mine.
It doesn't look like the other dealers. It caught my eye.
What's that? No, they're down here. It's my girl pearls, wherever they ended up. I don't even know what I did with them.
Nice older couple there. I was just trying to make a joke because it was painfully obvious there was nobody at that booth and nobody was buying anything. And then after looking at that Polaris, I was like, I now know why. I mean, that book in that type of grade is like a $40 book. I mean, honestly, like to even ask that much was ridiculous. The book literally had water damage. But I was trying to just kind of chat with him, and it was interesting that he was selling his own collection, because that's what it looked like. It looked like a personal collection, and it was just obvious that he this kid looking at this camera. That was funny. I was looking at these magic cards in this case, and that guy, I couldn't, like, when I'm walking, sometimes I can feel people looking at the camera. Like, I can feel that they're looking at it, which makes me kind of paranoid, I'm not going to lie. But sometimes I can't tell. And in that situation, I wasn't really looking at him, but he was looking dead at that camera. Those raw books were absolutely ridiculously priced. And as far as filming, I know I always get a lot of hate, a lot of questions. I had a press pass for this event from Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. They were kind enough to give me free entry, but what they also, I mean, I have free reign to film in the convention center. There is nothing stopping me. As far as a situation where somebody tells me to stop filming them, I would probably stop filming. Like, I mean, I'm not going to make somebody uncomfortable, but at the same time, like, I have free reign to film. People want to see what the Comic-Con experience is, and the Heroes Aren't Hard to Find folks understand that, and they give so many press passes out to people. I mean, it's not super uncommon. So I continued to go back through here. There was a couple situations where there were people selling or trying to sell to the vendors. This is something that I have done in the past, and it has not gone well for me, and other times it's actually gone very, very well. I don't even try to do that anymore. It's just so awkward and it's so uncomfortable because these people are not trying to buy. This one individual was bringing around this whole tote, and I'll show you here in the video in a second. And I mean, he had big time books, big time, high grade, giant size X-Men 1, like in a 9.2, ASM 300 newsstand 9.6, big time bronze modern type books. And it was it was very cringy to watch him try to do that, and it made me feel like, man, I kind of regret having done that. I mean, I sold some big stuff in the past, but man, I kind of regret doing that. It's just too awkward. So I go up to this dealer here. I had never gone to this one, I don't think, before, and you actually get to walk in here. And this is the dealer that just kind of sent me over the edge with these prices. Like, at this point, I was just like, what is happening? It's kind of blurry right here, but that New Mutants 98 was like $350, maybe $400. Spine ticks, like a 9.6 graded is like $500. Like, what are they doing here? And I mean, these other graded book prices, I mean, it's just insulting at this point. Like, what are they trying to do? And I come from a situation of not only like personal gain of like, I'm trying to get something for a good price, but I just think about the person that thinks that they're getting a reasonable price or the correct price. Here he is on that left there. That dude, I mean, he was trying to sell, and I was, you know, sometimes you see the stuff. And you know, as a dealer, it's like, where did they get this stuff? Like, is this coming from? I mean, I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but it's just like, where did you get this stuff from? And it's just kind of sketchy because you just don't know. And you know, you try not to judge a book by its cover, but that was some sketchy stuff that I was watching. Comics 50% off sale, buy one get one. Is that the case for the thousands of dollar books up there? I don't know. It's like, when I see those banners and stuff, there's like permanent banners. I don't even bother. Like, so if I bought that Hulk 340 and that Secret Wars 8, like, I buy one and I get one half off. Is that real? Because if that's the case, that's kind of crazy. This whole kiosk here was, oh, there he is right there. But this whole kiosk here to the right was all the convention exclusives. I had never really looked at that before, and it was pretty interesting. I actually looked at the convention exclusives before I went. Nothing crazy. Like, you're not going to see like San Diego Comic-Con level stuff, or like New York Comic-Con, you know, or even C2E2, like the big exclusives that go for crazy money. Like, you're not going to see those at this convention, which I'm fine with. I mean, there was definitely people buying some. A lot of more original art. You know, I was in a different space at this convention. My goal was more to get the signatures, which, if you haven't checked out that video, check that out. We got a lot of great signatures. But you know, I was not in the mind space of just spending thousands. I actually did look at a Jonah Hex, first Jonah Hex, at this one dealer, and you know, I think he had it at 200. I asked, you know, what he said, I could do it for 150, and I'm like, I mean, that was a pretty decent price. That's ridiculous right there. I might have to edit that out. That's a decent price, but still just so much money. And this line right here was for Jenny Frizen. She has really risen, pun intended, to, you know, another level. Like, this is her line, like, huge line. People, I don't know how, I should have interviewed that one lady and said, like, how long have you been waiting? Because there she is right there with the pink hair, purple hair. I appreciate that they kind of get some space so that you're not crowded around the table with her. She probably appreciates that. But yeah, this is the Artist Alley I've talked about before. A lot of familiar faces that I've seen in here. Let me know if you see yourself in any of the videos. I'd appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If at any point in time you like this video, give the thumbs up. And if you like this video, subscribe for more. I'm going to leave you with some sounds of the con. I hope you enjoy it, and take care.
But I'm glad you gave me that.
We didn't go down to the
She got me a, she got some surprising things.